Coming up on the Q30 Newscast. See details and reactions to an ICE raid in Hamden last week.
Quinnipiac's 10th president was inaugurated on Thursday, and check out a story on the a cappella group that performed at said inauguration.
And get a feature on a local farm and pumpkin patch.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Andrew Allison.
And I'm Nathan Rojas. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Last week, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement conducted a raid on a Hamden car wash.
Q30's Christina Jimenez has the details on the story.
The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducted a raid on a car wash in Hamden on Dixwell Avenue last Wednesday. In a press conference, Hamden Mayor Lauren Garrett confirmed that 8 adults were detained, including parents of children in school at the time.
We are here today to stand up for the people of Hamden, for the families that are living in fear because of an inhumane presidency.
Some students at Quinnipiac are wondering how this nearby raid can affect them and their families. Sean Duffy, Executive Director of the Albert Schweitzer Institute and Professor of Political Science, explained what students should expect.
Because it's a private university, they have the right to expect that law enforcement, external law enforcement, will not operate on our campus without the express consent or permission of our, authorities here at Quinnipiac.
A welcoming city ordinance was passed in Hamden in April of this year, aimed at keeping city employees from working with federal immigration officers. It was reported that ICE made a courtesy call to police, but dispatch did not pass along this information.
So the norms would have probably required a great deal of consultation before that raid took place. Not just a sort of cursory call to a dispatching office that never got passed on.
Duffy expects that more of these raids will be occurring in mid to small-sized cities around the country.
The big, beautiful bill that was passed in July awarded an unprecedented amount of money to border enforcement strategies.
In the press conference, Mayor Garrett condemned the actions of ICE during the raid in Hamden.
The actions from the administration and ICE are deplorable. They are disgusting. They are not what we represent in Hamden.
In a statement to local news yesterday, Mayor Garrett said that there is an ongoing internal affairs investigation into what happened. Reporting from Hamden for Q30 News, I'm Christina Jimenez.
On Monday, Quinnipiac announced Dr. Lisa Copeland as the new dean for the School of Medicine. Dr. Copeland has worked as the interim dean since July 2025. Copeland has been with the school since its inception, having launched the Office of Faculty Affairs and other programs. Provost Deborah Lieberwitz said, quote, "She brings a clear sense of institutional priorities and mission, the boldness to innovate that this moment demands, and a dedication to excellence in education and patient care that make our graduates the medical leaders of tomorrow," end quote.
Quinnipiac hosted Eric Russell, the Connecticut State Treasurer, for a fireside chat on Tuesday as part of the Critical Conversation series. Russell has been the Connecticut State Treasurer since 2023. His job is to manage the state's pension funds, its debt, cash, unclaimed property, and he oversees the Connecticut Higher Education Trust. Russell is an advocate for marginalized communities, and he mentors young Black and LGBTQ individuals.
Today, the Quinnipiac University Dance Marathon hosted their annual Q30 Cares. Q30 Cares is a mental health-centered event offering many related activities, allowing students to de-stress, while also emphasizing the importance of mental health care at Connecticut Children's Medical Center.
Yesterday, Nicole Gonzalez, an empowerment speaker and self-help author, spoke at Quinnipiac. She is the author of the book Every Teen Should Read. According to her website, she has experience guiding individuals through personal transformation by helping them rewrite limiting beliefs. She spoke on how to think positively and build a resilient mindset.
So I want you to think of your routine as a mental anchor. It keeps you grounded when life feels unpredictable.
Last Thursday, I attended the inauguration of Quinnipiac's 10th president, Dr. Marie Hardin, and had the chance to get her reaction after. Here's the story. Dr. Maria Hardin has been in office for 102 days, but Thursday was the day of her inauguration. Several people spoke at the event, including two former Quinnipiac presidents, Judy Olien and John Leahy. Olien was responsible for presenting the chain of office.
I place on your shoulders the seal of the university, the symbol of the high office which you now hold.
And Leahy presented the founding documents. The keynote speaker at the inauguration was Alexander Clark, the CEO of Technolutions and a member of the Quinnipiac Board of Trustees. During his remarks, he emphasized the point that higher education is becoming less transactional and more like a relationship.
A relationship that lasts across a lifetime. Learning no longer ends with a diploma. It becomes a companion through every reinvention of oneself and one's career.
The inauguration was an exciting time for many and emotional for some. The newly inaugurated president emphasized one thing: grit.
The grit of this great institution over decades that has attracted people who pull together and invest in our students.
Speaking of grit, Hardin used her remarks to tell a story about someone with grit who also spoke at the event. Chairman of the Quinnipiac Board of Trustees, Chuck Saya.
If you recall, this is what he said: I remember being nurtured by this community, and it allowed me to elevate myself to places I never thought I would get to. That striver, that graduate, sitting right behind me.
Saya also offered some powerful remarks at the ceremony.
The passion and energy that you've shown from day one and your love for this university is obvious, and they love it as well.
After the ceremony concluded, attendees walked up to Rocky Top Student Center, and there I was able to catch up with Dr. Hardin and get her thoughts.
I'm happy, and I have to be honest with you, I'm a little relieved because it was a big step for any president to take.
Hardin also emphasized that you can't just have talent, you also need grit.
But if you don't have that kind of resilience and stick-to-itiveness and determination and focus, you're not going to be able to take that talent and move forward in really powerful ways.
President Hardin wishes to create a community where students can embrace the school's mission and its ambition. Reporting from M&T Bank Arena for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison. During Common Hour yesterday, Hartford Healthcare had a common cold and flu information session outside the Student Health Center. Students can learn about symptoms of viral infections and what to do to help with those symptoms. They also provided information on a future flu clinic, which is set for next Thursday, October 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yesterday, during the Common Hour, the Office of Community Engagement hosted a service fair. The service fair allowed student organizations the opportunity to interact with the university and encourage students to join their organizations. With the fall temperatures finally starting to settle in, I'm hoping it doesn't get too cold.
You know, Nathan, I don't really mind the cold, but thankfully Q30's Riley Farrell is here for the 3-day forecast. Riley?
Thanks, guys. We've got some nice weather the next 3 days. Today we've got a high of 64 and a low of 45, and some nice partly cloudy weather. And then the next 2 days, we've got a high of 60, a low of 42 on Thursday, and a low of 40 on Friday. Still that nice cool weather, not too cold just yet, so some layers might be nice. And we've got that nice partly cloudy weather, so you're not getting blinded by the sun all day. That's all I have for the 3-day forecast. I'll be back with a look around Connecticut and the 7-day forecast. But for now, the Q30 Newscast has to take a break.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My name's Stacy. I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh. No, you can't.
Welcome back. Last Thursday, an a cappella group featured at the President's inauguration.
Covering the legends and their experiences, Q30 Sophia DeBona has the story.
Last Thursday, for President Hardin's inauguration, Quinnipiac's only a cappella group, The Legends, performed. They performed Finesse by Bruno Mars, which was an exciting start to their 2025 to 2026 season.
We were super excited when we were approached to perform at the inauguration. I think it's such a special request and something that we were so happy to do. Ray Hardin so far has been a great president, and to see that she's embracing us and music on campus is obviously really important to us as the only a cappella group on campus.
While the Legends are used to competing in a cappella competitions with other schools across the nation, getting to perform at the inauguration was an important step in the group's history. Choosing the right song for this moment was vital.
We just loved Finesse because it's a great, poppy, energetic song, and I think that really fits the vibe of our new president as well. She's very lively, very involved with everything, and I think it really displayed how fun our group can be.
We wanted to do like one of the more upbeat songs, and Finesse has like some like chanty fun parts in it too, so we were like, this would be fun.
Not only did the performance highlight the Legends' vocal talents, but it also created a memory that the group will remember forever, strengthening their tight-knit community.
I've loved it so much. It's beyond music now. It's like my best friends and it's my family away from home.
I've been doing music my whole life, and there's something really special about only making music with other people who are like my own age and who also love it. So as much as I love singing with them, I also love hanging out with them. They're like my family here.
I'm really grateful that the Legends were here. The group really is more than just a performing group or an a cappella group. We really are such like a close group of friends. I would consider us to be family.
The Legends are already off to a great start this year and are looking forward to many more performances throughout the school year, including their winter concert on December 6th. For Q30 News, I'm Sophia DeBona.
There was tabling to bring awareness to the annual Wheels in Motion event. The table was set up on Monday. The Wheels in Motion event is set for November with the goal of fundraising for adaptive sports programs in the community. At the table, students could enter a raffle for baskets made by QU physical therapy students.
Tomorrow, QU Spirit will be holding a QU Spirit Fest. The event is to promote Quinnipiac spirit and encourage attendance for athletic games. They will also be giving away pizza, t-shirts, and other goodies. It will take place on Bobcat Way lawn from noon to 2 p.m. Moving over to the political world, Q30's Emily Katz has the info on what's happened in the past week.
Thanks, Andrew and Nathan. This Saturday, October 18th, millions of Americans took to the streets in what organizers called a No Kings demonstration. Marches erupted in more than 2,600 cities from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles. The movement arose from widespread concern that President Donald Trump is acting much like a monarch than an elected leader, undermining the United States' democratic values. Some recent triggers would include the Trump administration's increased enforcement of immigration policies and large-scale federal troop deployments. In D.C., crowds packed the National Mall while similar scenes played out nationwide, from Chicago to New York and San Francisco. These protests would mark one of the largest single-day demonstrations in U.S. history, with turnouts estimates rising above 6 million. The events were largely peaceful and organized by a broad coalition. Now to Congress, the federal government shutdown has officially reached its 22nd day, making it the second longest funding lapse in U.S. history. Congress remains deadlocked as Senate leaders prepare for a 12th vote on a temporary funding measure. The deadlock stems from partisan battles over federal spending priorities, including healthcare subsidies and foreign aid cuts. Democrats are demanding that healthcare subsidies are restored before signing any budget bill. While Republicans insist a short-term spending plan must pass first, more than 900,000 federal employees are furloughed, with another 2 million working without pay. Court systems have started to also furlough staff for the first time in decades, and some states warned they may suspend SNAP benefits by November 1st if the shutdown continues. President Donald Trump has said he won't meet with Democratic leaders until Congress passes a funding bill to reopen the government. Continuing with the shutdown as it enters its fourth week, concerns about military pay have increased. President Donald Trump directed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to use $8 billion in unused Pentagon funds to issue military paychecks on October 15th. While many service members receive partial payments, reports have surfaced of underpayments and missing pay for activated Guard and Reserve units. The Defense Department says it is working to resolve payroll issues as Congress debates a bipartisan bill to guarantee military pay during future shutdowns. That's all I have for this week's political news. Back to Andrew and Nathan at the desk.
Thanks, Emily. Unfortunately, we have to take our second break of the night, but when we get back, Riley Farrell has the full week's forecast.
And we'll have some important info on the vaccines for upcoming virus season. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Guys! We have to make a commercial for #that right now. What do we do?
How long do we have? We only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no catch. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Pretty, that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And
that team is amazing. How do you not put Fairfield Women's College?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. If you're just joining us, I'm Andrew Allison alongside Nathan Rojas.
Now we have the full week's forecast along with a look around Connecticut. Riley, am I going to have to break out my hand warmers?
Well, Nathan, I wouldn't worry about those hand warmers just yet. We've still got some nice cool weather this weekend. We're in the high 50s. Maybe you might want to worry about them in the morning or late at night as we're dropping to 40 on Saturday and 38 on Sunday. Then it's going to start to get a little bit colder on Monday and Tuesday. We've got a high of 55 on both days and a low of 40 on Monday and 44 on Tuesday. So we've got that slight decline into some cooler weather. That late fall, early winter weather is starting to show itself. And once again, it's going to be partly cloudy for the rest of the week. Now for a look around Connecticut. Here in New Haven, we're going to be having that nice 60-degree weather tomorrow with a low of 44. And up in Hartford, they're going to be sharing that 60-degree weather with us with a low of 41. Same as Norwich, 60 degrees with a low of 39. As you get closer to the coast, New London cooling off a bit with a high of 57 and a low of 40. And farther inland, Torrington cooling off a little bit more with a high of 55 and a low of 39. And Danbury with a high of 59 and a low of 40. And then closer to the coast in Stamford, they are sharing that 60-degree weather with us tomorrow. That's all I have for the weather. Back to you, Andrew and Nathan.
Thanks, Riley. Now that the summer has finally become fall, virus season is upon us. And there are some steps you can take to reduce the risk of getting seriously ill, and vaccination plays a key role. The CDC says that people 6 months and older, including pregnant people, should consult a healthcare provider to get an updated COVID-19 shot.
People 6 months and older should also get a flu vaccine. Experts recommend getting a flu shot 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. They also recommend getting the shot by Halloween or Flu Before Boo. Speaking of which, this Sunday, the university will host its annual Boomers Boo Bash on the Quad. This event is a Halloween celebration of Hamden, North Haven, and the greater New Haven communities. Attendees will have the opportunity to connect with local businesses. The event will start at 10 a.m. and run until 2 p.m.
Popular chain restaurant Dave's Hot Chicken is set to open a location in Hamden on Saturday. The Los Angeles-based chain specializes in hot chicken tenders and sliders with ranging spice levels. Dave's Hot Chicken opened its first Connecticut location earlier this year in Milford. Zooming out from Hamden to the entire U.S., Melissa Sheehan is here to give us the rundown of what's going on around the country. Melissa?
Thanks, guys. Here's this week's national news. If you tried streaming, shopping, or checking work emails on Monday and ran into an error, you weren't alone. A major Amazon Web Service outage temporarily disrupted websites and apps across the globe during the day on Monday morning. The outage began around 8 a.m. Eastern Time and impacted platforms like Netflix, Slack, and even airline check-in systems. Amazon says a software update overloaded part of its U.S. East Data Center in Northern Virginia. Engineers rolled back the change within 2 hours, gradually restoring service by midday. While systems are back online, experts warn that relying on just a few major cloud providers creates a single point of failure for global business and communication. Amazon has apologized and says that it's conducting a full internal review. Looking to the tropics, Tropical Storm Melissa is stirring in the southern Caribbean and could strengthen into a hurricane by the weekend. As of Wednesday morning, Melissa packed winds near 50 miles per hour and was moving west-northwest at just 2 miles per hour. Meteorologists warn the storm's slow movement could bring days of heavy rain and life-threatening flooding to Haiti, Jamaica, and eastern Cuba. Warm ocean temperatures in the upper 80s are fueling the system, but strong winds are keeping it unbalanced for now. If Melissa stalls, it could unleash up to 30 inches of rain in mountainous areas, triggering mudslides and flash floods. Forecasters say direct impacts to the United States are unlikely, but East Coast residents are urged to monitor updates in case the track shifts northward next week. To priceless art, one of the most daring museum robberies in recent memory is sending shockwaves across the art world and across the Atlantic. French authorities say thieves posing as maintenance workers broke into the Louvre Museum, escaping with 8 pieces of the French crown jewels worth more than $100 million. The entire operation lasted less than 7 minutes. The investigation has now gone global and the FBI is involved. Its art crime team and the U.S. Homeland Security investigators are working with French police as experts warn that the stolen jewels could surface through the underground art market, including right here in the United States, a major hub for high-value private sales and auctions. In response, U.S. museums such as the Smithsonian and the Met in New York are reviewing their own security systems after the heist exposed how even the world's most guarded collections can be breached. Officials say the search could take years. A reminder that in global art crime, what happens in Paris seldom stays in Paris. That's this week's national news. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Melissa. It's now time for our last break of the night. When we return, we'll have your Quinnipiac Sports Update.
Also, we'll have a feature on a local pumpkin patch for the upcoming spooky season. Stay tuned.
Here at Sports Pause, we like to have balance between having fun and working hard. Sometimes that competition we cover gets into our producing.
Tune in every Monday night at 9:30 at q30tv.com/watch for all the news, highlights, and more. This is Sports Pause.
No, I'm not gambling. Live from the piazza, it's Quinnipiac Tonight!
Last weekend, there were a lot of big games for Quinnipiac sports teams.
Here with us tonight is Q30's Nick Olson with the rundown on hockey games and much more. What do you have for us, Nick?
Thanks, guys. Heading right into the action, the men's ice hockey team hosted the Maine Black Bears for its home opening weekend. On Friday, Quinnipiac drew a 4-4 tie. Then the Bobcats would shut out Maine 4-0, earning their third win of the season over the number 7 ranked Black Bears. In the opener, Quinnipiac would head into the third period trailing 4-2. A thrilling comeback with goals from Elliot Gronwald and Jeremy Wolmer would send that game into overtime. First-year Ethan Wittenbach would sneak one past Maine's goaltender, giving the Bobcats the win in the shootout 1-0. On Saturday, goaltender Matej Marinov would get his third consecutive start between the pipes and impress everyone, making 19 saves in the shutout victory. After the weekend series, the Bobcats were moved to number 6 in the USCHO poll, jumping 4 spots from last week. Last night, Quinnipiac defeated Holy Cross 4-1. On Friday, the Bobcats will head up north to take on Merrimack. Also up at the bank, the women's ice hockey team hosted the Northeastern Huskies in a weekend series. Bobcat forward Kaylin LaMarche had an historic weekend. LaMarche scored the most goals over a weekend series in almost 7 years in both men's and women's ice hockey. LaMarche tallied 7 goals across the 2 games and would win ECAC Forward of the Week. On Saturday, LaMarche's third goal of the game would give the Bobcats a lead with just under a minute to go, leading to the 4-2 win over the Huskies. LaMarche wouldn't be the only standout player for Quinnipiac, as goaltender Felicia Frank made 58 saves over the weekend. On Friday, it will be time for the Bobcats to write a new chapter on the Battle of Whitney Avenue, as they travel down to New Haven to take on the Yale Bulldogs. Let's move over to the pitch now, as the women's soccer team finds themselves in a tight MAC division race. The Bobcats sit 4 points behind the first-place Fairfield Stags. Quinnipiac is in prime position with 2 games remaining on their schedule to have a top seed in this year's postseason. On Saturday, the Bobcats will head to New Rochelle to take on Iona. Then, in their final game of the season, they will host the Manhattan Jaspers. If the field plays out the same as it stands, Quinnipiac would take on the 7th seed Siena Saints in the first round. This year, the Bobcats drew a 0-0 tie against the Saints on October 1st. With Quinnipiac's big win over Sacred Heart on Saturday, the Bobcats moved 1 point ahead of the Pioneers in the standings. With 2 games to go, if Quinnipiac wins out, they secure the 2 seed. That's all the time I have tonight. Back to Nathan and Andrew at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. It's October, and you know what that means, Nathan? Pumpkin carving.
That's for sure. If you're wondering where to get a good pumpkin, Q30's Mari Smith has a place you can go.
With the autumn season well underway, what better time to pick pumpkins and fresh produce at your local farm?
If you like fresh donuts, hot cider, and amazing ice cream, you should definitely come check out the farm.
Old Bishop Farm provides every fall essential that you need, with it all being sourced in-house.
Right now, you can find a full array of fruit and vegetables inside, as well as donuts and fresh baked pies. We do everything from scratch here. And then, of course, all of the pumpkins, both edible and decorative. So we're just kind of doing the fall thing here right now.
Desserts, including donuts, are also baked here daily, and if you come early enough, you can catch a glimpse of the magic.
Definitely come check out the farm. Come early so you can get them hot and fresh.
While visiting the farm during the fall season may feel like the most ideal time, the importance of what Old Bishop does is year-round.
There's a pretty big environmental component to it. Just, wanting to grow food in a way that is best for our environment. Having your food travel not as far is pretty important. And the community aspect of having a connection and being able to actually see where your food is grown.
Reporting from Cheshire for Q30 News, I'm Amari Smith.
Thanks, Amari. Staying in Connecticut, a trio of escaped goats have become somewhat of local celebrities in Clinton. The goats escaped in July and have been seen grazing near Interstate 95. Clinton Animal Control has attempted to capture the goats, but with no success.
The pictures you're seeing were taken off of Interstate 95. Animal Control requests that if you spot the goats, do not attempt to chase or catch them, as they could be spooked and run into the interstate. Many residents worry about their safety and are coming together to return them back to the farm they tactfully escaped from.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you tonight on the Q30 Newscast.
Thank you to all of the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Make sure to keep up with us on X and on our X and Instagram accounts at Q30 News and our website, q30television.com. Good night, Bobcats.
Coming up,